Hey, this is Justin. Oh, we got a weird camera angle here. Let's just turn this camera off completely here. It's like, can I get in there? Can I get in there? Can I get in the shot? I don't know what's going on with the camera on this one, but let's just take the camera off. This is Justin. This is a walk and talk on a Sunday morning, getting ideas that are rattling around in the head, outside the head. We're also starting to work on it's cool Tesla with 100% charge sticker on it. I might actually get something like that for my car. I got a little scratch on it and want to come up with a creative way to cover up the scratch. And what else do we want to talk about here today? So, talking about convincing versus showing. We're doing I sat down this morning for about an hour on Reddit, did a little bit of research, and I was just like, what are some of the stuff that I want to talk about? How do I come up with a focused way to start to bring walking and talking to people, start to introducing ways of working that work for people, start being able to do more walking and talking, doing more broadcasting, more sharing, more creating of ideas, more opportunities for masterminds, more opportunities to get ideas that sort of die inside of the head out into the world into a way that where they could potentially be meaningful. And I was thinking about it. I've heard the research a couple of different times, but it's like when you share a goal and the excitement that goes along with that goal, and you share it with other people, you get the same benefit that you get from actually achieving the goal. And so you don't do the work to actually achieve the goal because you've already got the feeling benefit. I guess it's I don't know if it's a dopamine hit or whatever the chemical that gets released is. But then you don't actually get the goal, you just get the feeling of it. And then later on, you're left disappointed. Inside of doing walking and talking and sharing, it's not necessarily talking about specific goals. It's talking about whatever is top of the mind right now in a low pressure situation. And what can happen is other people can start to get the like, oh, that's actually valuable. That is something that I'm interested in. That's something that I want to have for myself. They start to get that, and then also our future selves can start putting the pieces together for capturing those unspoken goals and those unspoken things that are actually wanting to happen. And that's what I'm super excited about. Just doing the regular brainstorms and getting ideas out of the head in a way that they can be potentially useful, getting the ideas out of the head in a way they can potentially be useful, and then letting the machines take over and start getting us what we want and what we need from. Let me just take a note here real quick. Something I want to follow up on here today. Yes, letting the machines, and that is machines being systems, and machines being systems, machines being tools, machines being kind of the universal machines as well, start to take over and start to give us what we actually want to do. So excited to really explore the who I am, what I'm passionate about, what I care about, what we wanted to actually share. Excited to create a lot as I'm just walking my dog in the mornings, being more productive for the first 90 minutes of the day than I am for the rest of the day. And the only thing that I would put in that bucket is people time, right? Is connections with people and spending time with the family and putting deposits in the bank of relationships with family and putting deposits in the bank of relationships with friends and putting deposits in some of those connective items that we like to share and work through. And that's it. And it's basically go on a walk and talk, get the ideas out there because that's what we're doing. Everything that we have is just an expression of our thinking in the moment. And then it's also us banging against other people and the thoughts that they're having in the moment. That's where you start to create that mastermind impact, right? They're not friction points. They're a little bit of friction points, but not friction in the negative sense, more friction in the positive sense. But those connectivity points between what people are actually working on. Because as I go through this right now, there's, I don't know, 8 billion people on the planet right now. I basically know what's going on inside of the head of one of those people, and that's me. Everybody else, even those that are really close to us, really don't know what's going on inside their heads, what they're thinking about. Are they in a positive, are they in a positive mindset right now? Are they in a negative mindset right now? Whatever it is. And so we only know the one. if we don't share what is happening, what we're thinking about in the moment. And this is the best expression of what I'm thinking about actually in this moment, because it's getting expressed through words. Now, there is some filters that come into this. There is there is some of the unspoken stuff of like what some of the concerns are. My daughter's flying home today my daughter's flying home today from a trip to Costa Rica that she went on for a couple of she went on for a couple of weeks, and she's coming back home today. And like, did she have a good time? Was she happy? Was she upset? Like all of that stuff that we start to all that stuff that we start to think about, and be to be uh, all the stuff that we start to think about and be concerned about. And like, I just walked by a whole group of people, so I wanted to do a little pause there. Did she have a good time overall? Like, is she having a good time in the moment? And we think about all that stuff, but I mean, it can go up and down, right? Emotions go up and down at any point in time, and we hold other people sort of to like a fixed experience. But for ourselves, it's like this morning I've been like empowered, I've been concerned, I've been upset, I've been like planning, I've been like, what am I going to do today? I've been like, what decisions are going to make? So our emotions go up and down all the time, but we kind of want other people like anchored towards sort of one way of being. They're generally happy, they're generally this, right? The external view. And it's interesting how we start looking at what other people are experiencing in the moment. What is it? There's a lot less, I guess, room for nuance from other people, but everybody's got those same 70,000 thoughts, and some are positive, and some are negative, and some are concerns, some are creation, some are positive, and I think I said that word a couple of different times there. So that is what do I want to say about that? So we want to get as much of this stuff out there and captured as possible, so that we can have the second brain that starts to inform us of like, where is this going? What's the direction that we're moving in? What is it that we're actually creating? What's getting built? What's wanting to happen? What's a pipe dream? What's something that like, hey, we're thinking about this thing, but it's never going to happen. All those different variables are in play. All those different variables are play, and then we have to think about the inputs that are, think about the inputs and the outputs. And I was also I think where people miss the boat on AI quite a bit is they want it to be a catch-all, like completely human independent solution for the stuff that we want. That's the human nature. Like, that's what's automation, like hands off, no human in the conversation. But we need, especially as the technology gets a little bit gets better, we do need humans in the conversations, right? And then for like personal satisfaction, we need to be part of it. So if we look at partnerships with the technology, working together, what is it that the tech does well? What is it that the humans do well, right? We got to look at those things. Together, and we've got to look at like where the handoff points are. Where is technology starting, needing improvements? Where do the humans need improvements? And who plays which role inside of the conversation, and when, and right, and when are the trade-offs? Like, when I've got more energy, I can do more of, like, my thinking is going to be a little bit better, and I can do a little bit more of the heavy lifting, and I can do a little bit more of the creative work than when my thinking is not as good. And then look, if I'm going to create something for social media, I know it's better when I create it via video than when I create it via audio. But then there's that stuff happens when we start to do some of the creations via via video, right? And then it's, do we have the right audio quality on the back end? There's all kinds of different like variables that go into the yeah, into the decision-making process. And ooh, come on, let's go, let's go. Taking a little bit of a pause here, like a little bit of pause. My dog's walking through, and had a little bit of not a standoff with another dog, but a little bit of a connective point. So so that is like, how do we build the machines? How do we build the machines to be able to have the conversations, to be able to create the masterminds, to go from idea to reality, right? To like, how do you put together the different pieces where we go from an idea to reality really quickly, right? And how do we start to, yeah, that's the, yeah, how to, I don't know what the how is on the back end of that, but yeah, how do we start to, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah. So things that are top of mind for me, number one is setting up the structure to be able to do more walking and talking. Number two, which is top of mind, is like, how do I communicate this in a way that that connects with other people? That's number two. Yeah, how do I connect that in a way that with other people, and right, and how do I keep my head in the game long enough to realize, how do I keep my head in the game long enough to for the work to have an impact on other people? And I think that's the beginning, the middle, and the end of the conversation. I probably have to have that conversation with multiple people of like, how do I articulate that? Yeah, how do I articulate that piece of work? How do I articulate that piece of work so that so that it's meaningful for, yeah, that's what's meaningful for other people. How do we start to articulate, and then how do you start to, as we're going through tough times, really transform our thinking and our actions real time? And again, I think that is, we can always go on a walk and talk. We can always capture a new recording. We can always share out a piece of content. And when we share out a piece of content, that's always an opportunity for something extraordinary to be happening. And the more that we share out, the greater that we increase our chances of something interesting or extraordinary happening on the back end, right? And so it's, yeah, it's more sharing, it's more creating, it's more building, it's more adaptability. And I'm just trying to think, make sure that I capture the piece of, yeah, that's the brain dump. That's the brainstorm. I think we'll put an end to this one right now. I'm going to mess around with other ways of doing some of the creations and the builds, right? Other ways to start. Sorry. Um, Other ways to um, yep. Oops, let me see. Other ways to be able to surface the insights. Other ways to be able to. I just got like startled. Somebody came up and I don't know, she sneezed. I think that's what she did. I think she came up and sneezed, and then startled me. So yeah, other ways to be able to surface the insights. Other ways to be able to surface the connective tissue. Other ways to be able to connect with people. Other ways to be able to Yeah. Other ways to be able to. Um, Yep, other ways to be able to, yeah, other ways to be able to connect with people. I'm thinking of those actual shirts that I can wear that can actually send messages of like, hey, here's what we're doing right now. Here's what we're working on. Here's what's happening. And yeah, here's what we're working on. Here's what's happening. And taking it from there. I think that is, yes, do like the walk and talk shirts, right? The audio sign, the signage of what we're actually talking about and what we're creating. I'm doing doing a live broadcast, doing a live podcast, being a walking billboard for the stuff that we're working on. I'm thinking through that. I'm thinking the safety measures that go along with that. But yeah, how do you start connect with other people? How do you start to, how do you start to connect with other people? How do you start to, uh, and then create the connective tissues with ideas, and then what's the outcome that we're after? What is the thing that we're working towards? So I'm going to leave that one here for right now. If you're having an amazing Sunday or whatever day it is that you are seeing this, appreciate you listening in or spending time, and have a great one.